I am Christian Ornieta, and I am here to present to you the physical development of high school learners as presented in the book The Child and Adolescent Learners and Learning Principles by Brenda B. Corpuz, Maria Rita Lucas, Heidi Grace Borabo, and Paz Lucido. At the end of this presentation, we should be able to describe the physical and sexual changes accompanying puberty, identify the psychological consequences of early and late physical maturation in adolescence, identify factors that enhance or impede the socio-emotional development of adolescents, identify causes of possible habit disorders and ways of coping with them, and draw implications of these physical development concepts to high school teaching, learning, and parenting. As future educators, it is important to be aware of what students are going through the stage of adolescence and be able to deal with the students appropriately as needed. Knowing this, we can be more efficient as teachers, and we can also provide needed guidance for the students. Adolescence is a period of transition in terms of physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional changes. It is a stage of human development that coincides with puberty. Puberty is a biological development occurring at the age of 11 for girls and 12 for boys. Puberty can somehow be likened to an alarm clock inside our body, telling us that it's time for girls to become ladies and for boys to become men. The specific ages for this period may vary from person to person, but early adolescence characterized by puberty may come at the ages of 11 and 12, middle adolescence 14 and 16, and late adolescence marks the transition into adulthood at ages 17 and 20. With puberty, major physical changes manifested on physical development includes changes in physical appearance. Men have heavier bones and twice as much skeletal muscle. Fat tissues in women increases in breasts and buttocks. Rapid rate of growth in height and in weight. Resultant feeling of awkwardness and unfamiliarity with bodily changes, and alterations in sleeping habits and parent-adolescent relationships. Throughout life, growth hormones condition gradual increases in body size and weight. Hormone flooding during adolescence causes an acceleration growth known as growth spurts. As seen in the graph, growth spurts for girls usually begin at age 10, reaching its peak at age 11 and a half, while slow continual growth occurs for several more years. For boys, growth spurts begin at age 12, reaching a peak at age 14, and declining at age 15 and a half, while slow continual growth continues on for several more years. We hear lots of adults say, "What's the matter with kids today? Why are they so often confused, annoying, demanding, moody, defiant, and reckless?" This is what we call #teenage turmoil. And the truth is, it doesn't just occur in our generation. In every generation, it seems the same lament goes forth from parents of adolescents. Beginning at puberty, the brain is reshaped. Neurons and synapses proliferate in the cerebral cortex and are then gradually pruned throughout adolescence. Another circuit, still under construction in adolescence, links the prefrontal cortex to the midbrain reward system, where addictive drugs and romantic love exert their powers. Hormonal changes are at work too. The adolescent brain pours out adrenal stress hormones, sex hormones, and growth hormone, which in turn influence brain development. These changes requires adolescents to take time to be familiar and adapt with their bodies, thus making them vulnerable at this stage. It is therefore very important that they be provided with good influence of people who genuinely love and care for them, in order for the adolescents to avoid becoming victims of the negative influences around them at this stage. For this presentation, we shall be focusing on the physical changes in adolescence. So let's talk about hormones. The series of hormonal changes accompanying puberty is complex. Hormones are powerful and highly specialized chemical substances that interact with body cell. Hormonal changes in the hypothalamus and pituitary glands signal the entire process of sexual maturation. During this process, gonadotropic hormones are secreted by the anterior pituitary gland. These gonadotropic hormones then stimulate the gonads or sex glands of boys and girls. Testes for boys and ovaries for girls are stimulated. When stimulated, the testes and the ovaries also stimulate their own hormones, testosterone and estrogen respectively. In the male, testosterone stimulates male characteristics comprised by spermaceae, enlargement of testis gland which produces sperm in the scrotum, growth of penis male organ, capacity for ejaculation of sperms, voice change, facial hair, beard growth, continuing growth of pubic hair, lowering of voice which occurs late in puberty. Spermaceae signals the first sign of puberty and sexual maturity in boys. The need to discharge semen occurs periodically. It may occur during sleep caused by sexual dreams or through conscious manipulation of the sexual organ known as masturbation. Science liberally regards masturbation as a normal phenomenon, unless it becomes a habitual aberration that may affect confidence in heterosexual or boy and girl relationship. In girls, estrogen secretion triggers menarche or the first menstruation, beginning of breast enlargement, appearance of pubic hair, widening of hips, growth of uterus and vagina. There are factors, however, that contribute to early puberty and late puberty. These factors include heredity, diet, exercise, and socio-environmental influence. Early or late maturation deserves due consideration, as this can be a factor for adolescent acceptance and comfort or satisfaction with his or her body image. Among girls, physical changes are more dramatic, but perceptions of not being well developed as compared with their peers can be a cause for timidity or shyness, if not frustration. For late maturing boys, the slack in growth in the body build, strength, motor performance, and coordination may inhibit their performance in curricular and extracurricular activities such as sports. Being physically weaker, shorter, and slimmer would make them less apt to be outstanding in leadership activities and in sports. On top of these, late maturing teens are seen by their peers as being more childish, more inhibited, less independent, less self-assuring, and less worthy of leadership roles. An adolescent's sexual identity involves sexual orientation, activities, interests, and styles of behavior. Adolescence is a time of sexual exploration and experimentation with sexual fantasies and realities of incorporating sexuality with one's identity. In terms of sexual identity, adolescence is the period when most gay or lesbian and transgenders begin to recognize and make sense of their feelings. Development analyst Freuden proposed a model for the development of homosexual identity. First is the sensitization, marked by the child's becoming aware of same-sex attractions. Then there is identity confusion, when the youth is overwhelmed with feelings of inner turmoil regarding sexual orientation. Identity assumption, when adolescents come out of the family and assumes a self-definition as gay, lesbian, or bisexual. and commitment when the young adult adopts a sexual identity as a lifestyle. A major aspect of identity formation during the period of adolescence is self-esteem. It is defined as one's thoughts and feelings about one's self-concept and identity. It is one's judgments about one's worth. Girls enjoy self-esteem through supportive relationships with friends or others who can provide social and moral support. In contrast, boys are more prone to assert independence in defining their relationships, deriving self-esteem from their ability to successfully influence others. The lack of romantic competence or the failure to meet the affection of the opposite sex can be a major contributor to low self-esteem in adolescent boys. In school, teachers need to be aware of the possible drop in self-esteem among adolescent learners. The teacher's support is crucial to protect adolescent learners against severe distress and anxiety over their schoolwork and social relationships. To meet the physical development of adolescent children, parents need to be aware of behavioral patterns that require closer communication, guidance, and support. Behavioral patterns such as aggressiveness, ruthlessness, self-centeredness, undependability, and others. The teen is especially addicted to modern gadgets, video games, cell phones, and the social media. These activities cause shorter sleeping time that may contribute to increased levels of daytime drowsiness, sleeping problems, and depression. It is necessary for adolescents to have sufficient amounts of vitamins, B12, calcium, zinc, iron, riboflavin, and vitamin D. Poor eating habit is manifested by often skipping meals, frequent taking of snack foods at fast food eateries, and this should be avoided. So, do you recognize this handsome guy? Yes, it's James Reid. How about this woman? Yes, it's the famous Filipina Liza Soberano. Most adolescents desire an ideal body, which is the same as being attractive or handsome in the face. Features of the eyes, nose, lips, hair, and in body, tall and muscular for boys and tall and slender for girls, just like the actor and actress James Reid and Liza Soberano. In the developed countries like US, about 10% of adolescents have been known to take anabolic steroids in tablet or in injectable form for cosmetic and athletic performance purposes. It is important to forewarn adolescents about the severe harmful effects of long-term use of steroids, liver dysfunction, cancer, and damage of the reproductive system. This is how influential is the body image figure is for adolescents. That's why they need to have proper guidance. It is important that adolescents feel confident about their body image. However, the physical features of the human body, the facial looks, body size, color of the skin, depend on genetic heritage, which must generally be respected. Yes, looks are important, but looks aren't everything, and looks aren't the most important thing there is. There is more to body image than physical looks, and these concern good habits in relation to cleanliness and grooming. We should always encourage our students to properly groom themselves and guide them how to deal with pimples, oily face, body odor. This is also to help them how to handle the changes in their bodies during the stage of adolescence. Proper wearing of clothes following current styles should also be encouraged for them. Not that we teach them to be fashionable, but we teach them how to look good for others so that they also will feel confident about themselves. We should also teach them to have an erect bodily posture, so that is one way of taking care of their bones. Eye contact while communicating, to be able to be confident in front of others, also while socializing. Proper decorum and decency, so that they also learn the good etiquettes when they are with others or in whatever they do, which will also be serving as guidance for them in possible situations or scenarios they will be facing in the future. And most important of all, we should be good role models for our students, because whatever we teach them, our actions speak louder than words. So that would be all. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you.